Hi everyone, New York Times bestselling author Jamie Brumfield, and today I'm back to you live again to talk to you about another portion of the Design Your Desired Future series I'm doing on the YouTube and the Facebook channel. So, what we're going to talk about today is about mindset. If you missed last week's, we talked about creating a balanced life by examining it and creating a visual representation called a balance wheel. So, if you missed that, definitely check it out. I'll link it up in the video description below for you as well, so you can check it out. But it's very beneficial. Today, we're going to talk about mindset. I was kind of torn actually. I wanted to talk about either goal setting or mindset reframing. And I figured that mindset reframing would be probably the first best thing to talk about. Now that you've got your life on a whole, on a balance graph, and you're looking at it, you know what's working and what's not working and what areas you're going to work on. Now is the time to take that and make sure that you have the right thought process. The reason why I believe this is so super important is because I was also trained in the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is all about what you send out to the universe will come back to you. But let's say you send a boomerang out into the universe and it's full of all of this positive energy and this positive um, focus and everything, and you're keeping that positive. But as that boomerang comes back, something jumps in the middle, some kind of negative energy jumps in the middle. That boomerang never makes it back to you. So while you're sending out all this good into the universe, there's negativity that's blocking it from coming back. And so that's why mindset reframing is super important, especially when you're talking about the law of attraction, when you're talking about coaching. It's something that I've worked with clients so many times because mindset can be a silent obstacle, a silent saboteur in your life. And mindset can sabotage you from being successful. Let me give you an example. As an author, I had a mindset that I was not good enough to write stories, that my writing was not good enough. This mindset was so ingrained in me that it took me years to publish my first book. But after I published that first book, I got proof and validity from everybody who was reading that book, and they loved it, and I got feedback, and I got everything that I worked towards. I realized that negative mindset was holding me back. That negative mindset was keeping me from doing what I had been destined to do. This could also be happening with you, and that's why I'm sharing this with people who are watching this channel. I'm doing this series, the Design Your Desired Future series, because it mindset, negative thoughts, negative beliefs, negative mindset can really, all this hard work you're doing on the outside, everything, all planting of the seeds and trying to grow this garden and this beautiful, wonderful life that you're trying to create. And then you've got this negative mindset that's sabotaging you underneath the surface, and you don't even know it exists. So that's what we're talking about today. And I've actually broken it out a little bit for you. I've got an activity for you that you can do, that you can actually start doing right now if you want to. But I want to talk a little bit about the negative thought patterns, and that there are some negative thought patterns. There's actually 5 very common negative thought patterns. And those negative thought patterns are stewing, like we stew on the situation and we stew on the negativity. Then we're getting stuck in a rut, right? Then the all or nothing. You either believe that you have to have perfect success or absolute failure, and there's no gray area in between. If any of these, if you're recognizing any of these, let me know in the comment section below, or just give a thumbs up for this video if you don't want to share that. Just let me know. These are very common negative thought patterns that we all have experienced, and some of us experience it a lot more than others. Magnifying a situation can be a very daunting negative thought pattern. Fortune telling or mind reading, when you make the assumption that you know what somebody else is thinking about you, that is a negative thought pattern that is stopping you from finding success. And most of the times this is 100% inaccurate. So I mean, it's really important to keep an eye on those kind of things. And then personalization, where everything that happens revolves around you because you have done something that has created that. This again can become a negative mindset because that's not necessarily true. The world is running on everybody's path. Everybody is doing their own things. And what happens is a result of every choice, every decision, not just yours, but everyone's. So if you'd like us to go over more detail, those 5 negative thought patterns on this channel, I need to know in the comment section below, and I will create videos on all 5 of them for you so that you can kind of delve into them deeper. So let me know in the comment section below if that is something that you're interested in, and I'll make sure that I get that going for you next week. They will be short videos. They're not going to be long videos. They're going to be, short and sweet, 5 to 10 minute videos, just talking about the mindset and the negative patterns that come from those mindsets. And then that way you can go ahead and just identify them if they're happening in your life or if you're seeing this happen. Like I said, I've had it myself. I've done it myself. I talked myself out of publishing. I talked myself out of writing. I talked myself out of success many times because I really had this issue where I thought, well, maybe I don't deserve it. And if that's something that you can empathize with or sympathize with or connect to, then you're not alone, because I've done it too. And I've had great success. I did achieve New York Times bestseller. I do have 30 books that I've published. I do have great reviews on Amazon. Yes, of course, there's going to be a scattering of a few negative reviews, but you've got to overcome that because that's part of the business. Not everybody's going to love what you do. It's just the way it is. And it's not just writing, it's any business. Not everyone's going to love what you do. Now, this is really tailored towards writers, authors, and giving fans some insight into what we go through as authors and publishers. But this can be tailored to anybody. This can be in anybody's life. If there's negative thought process, if there's negative patterns that you're using to think, thought patterns that you're using to think, then there is some things that you can do to overcome that. And I'm going to share one of those. And this can be used by anybody in any profession and anywhere. So yes, well, this channel is about writing, authors, fans, paranormals, mystery, supernatural, all of that stuff. Plus, being a work from home mom and writing and self-publishing and all of that goes into it. Yes, there's a lot that goes into this channel. It all falls under the umbrella of what I do. I work from home as an author, self-publisher. But this can be under any umbrella of work. What I'm going to show you, the tool I'm going to show you, can be used for anything. Now, I will tell you, as a coach, many times my clients were oftentimes small business owners. That's the clients that gravitated towards me. That's the clients I worked with on a regular basis. It was either a lot of the clients that I would work with are small business owners, or I would work with clients that wanted to move into leadership roles. I did that as a career, so it's easy I trained leaders in my career. So it's easy for me to, for those kind of clients to gravitate towards me, but that wasn't the only clients I saw. I saw a lot of other clients. I saw authors. I saw all kinds of creative clients. So it works with anything is what I'm trying to say. This process works I have never seen this process fail unless the person who was working on the process let themselves down. And what I mean is they did not follow through with the process. So first thing you're going to need, if you're going to use this process to help overcoming negative mindset, is one, make sure you watch that first video so you can look at your life on a whole and look at the balanced life and do that. And that I would suggest being your very first page in what I like to call a journey journal. Okay, so a journey journal is just a notebook. Now, I recommend using a notebook. I do not recommend typing it out on the computer. I recommend using a notebook. I know that means that you're going to have a lot of paper, or you can use the Rocketbook notebook, which I have used and I still do use, and that you can scan. I'll put a link to my review of that in the video description. But basically, it's a thin little notebook that you can write everything down, and then you scan it, and it goes right to your Google Drive and to the folders that you want. So again, it's saved, and that's really nice. And you don't have to buy another notebook, so you don't have a ton of these hanging around. So I would recommend, if you're going to do this, to get the Rocketbook. I highly recommend it. I will link up the video so you can see what I'm talking about in the video description. But you can also just use a 99-cent notebook from the store. The thing is, the process is that I'm saying don't do it on the computer because writing is really, really, really good at helping to solidify what you're working on. And typing can do that, but it's not as effective in my personal experience. I don't find it as effective. So writing it down helps with realization, helps with connecting to the subconscious, and helps with making those connections stronger. And so I really firmly believe that there's still a use for notebooks in our world today. But you can go with the high tech notebook that you basically just write it down and then scan it into your computer. It's so easy. You just use your phone and you scan it. It's just an app that you download to your phone. Okay, so I'll link that up. But so, okay, so here's what you want to do. So once you've done that, you've got your balanced life graph. Make sure that you've done that, and then you get started on your journey journal. And this is an everyday thing. This is a journal that you do every day. If you're working on mindset, I highly recommend that you do this, and then you have a separate page for your journaling. So here's what I do when I'm working with clients for mindset. I have them create a page in their journal that says today's date, their affirmation for the day, their focus, one, two, or three things that they're going to focus in on today. So I haven't done a video on this, but I will do a video on this later. But one of the best ways to really in fact, that'll be my next video after I do the 5 mindset thought patterns. If you want to see those, I will do this one. But basically, one of the greatest tools to moving forward momentum is just picking 1 to 3 things that you can do that's going to help you improve an area on your balanced life wheel that day, every day. And you're just going to see yourself just move forward every day. Because even if you just do one thing a day, you're making movement towards your end goal of improving that area. So you're focused 1 to 3 things. Then for the rest of the day, you're going to carry this notebook with you, and you're going to write down your thoughts, whether they're positive, negative, or neutral. So I usually just use the positive sign for positive, the minus sign for negative, and the equal for neutral. So you want to write down your thoughts and then write down whether or not they're positive, negative, or neutral. If they're positive, great, you're on the right track. If they're negative or neutral, you want to bring them over here to this column, and this column is called the reframe column. And what you're doing here is you're finding a way to make this a positive. You're rewording that thought and making it a positive. You're making that thought more of a positive outlook. And so basically, maybe you're sitting there and you're saying, I'm really nervous about getting up and talking in front of a group of people. I have to do this speech today. Okay. So that can be like a negative thought pattern, right? Instead of saying, I'm really nervous about this, I don't know if I can do this, I'm really scared. All of that, those are valid feelings that you're having, but maybe you could reframe it and say something along the lines of, I feel pretty nervous about the speech today, but I'm very prepared and I'm ready, and I'm so excited to learn how to advance in this skill set because it's going to help me in my future. Do you see how that changes? It's not I'm scared, it's not I don't know if I can do this. Now instead of that, instead of talking ourselves out of it, we're turning it into this is what it's going to do to help me move forward. And you're turning it into a positive. Yes, you're acknowledging that you're nervous. Well, many of us get nervous when we talk in front of people. In fact, when I do speeches in front of people, even though I've done it as at leadership, I've been in leadership roles where I've had to talk in front of large groups of people. I always got nervous. I had to carry a paper clip, and I was doing the paper clip in my hand. Even now, you can see I still have those nervous feelings sometimes when I'm using my hands to talk. Right? I'm not Italian. Well, that idea that Italians talk with their hands. Well, lots of people talk with their hands. Again, that's just a stereotype, and it's not the best example. But what I'm saying is that we all have those feelings. We all have that fears and the way of telling ourselves, we're not going to be successful in this. The way of self-sabotaging ourselves, those negative thought patterns, right? So reframe them, and that's the goal, is every negative or neutral thought process or thought pattern that you have for that day, you reframe it into a positive. Yes, I'm nervous, but you know what, I'm also excited because guess what, I am enhancing my skills as somebody who speaks in front of people. And someday I am going to be able to get in front of people and never feel that feeling of dread when I get in front of those people. You see, you're changing it. You're changing it in your mind. You're reinforcing in your subconscious through a conscious level that you want to change this. And that is the next piece, is the affirmation. So the affirmation is here, right? So once you've done your reframe, then create an affirmation that you can go ahead and look back on and remind yourself, I am powerful. I am a great speaker. I can do this, right? So you're creating an affirmation to rely upon when this negative thought pattern comes up again. You have something to go back and say, no, you know what? I've dealt with this before. I am powerful. I have a voice that needs to be heard, and am going to I'm going to make everyone happy when I'm up there speaking, or whatever your affirmation is, right? So you just come up with your affirmation, you put it down here, and then you decide what kind of pattern that this affirmation, or this, not the affirmation, but the negative thought process was. Look at your negative thoughts for the day at the end of the day, and do you have a pattern? Is there one specific area that you're negative in, that you use negative thoughts in? If there's one specific area, then this is something to look at on your balanced life wheel, and then go, hey, I struggle in this area. Why? What do I need to do to feel more confident? What do I need to do to remind myself that I'm good at this? What do I need to do? And then that's when you can go ahead and say, okay, well, if I'm struggling in, the idea of public speaking, then maybe there's some classes I can take. You're just breaking it down, and you're finding the triggers. You're finding the triggers through the thoughts. You're breaking it down. You're making it a positive. You're creating a positive affirmation. And then you are identifying patterns, so that once you go ahead and start looking at things as a whole, you can say, this pattern is often for me. I often have issues about this, so I'm going to figure out a way to change it. And that is how the mindset journal works. Then the next page, you can do your regular journey journal. So that's really what you want to think about when you're looking at this. Just think about it from that perspective. It's about creating a different mindset, and that's what this activity is about. So if you'd like to know more about this, let me know in the comment section below. I will be more than happy to, even if you want me to create like I don't know, a cheat sheet on this, let me know in the comment section below, and I will consider creating a cheat sheet for people to download. So definitely a really helpful tool, and something that you want to do for a while until you start noticing that all your thoughts are more positive. Then you can kind of let up. And then if you start feeling like the negative is coming and seeping back in, then that's when you want to turn it around and say, okay, let's try this mindset thing again. Because this mindset thing worked before, let's make it work again. What is happening here? And that'll help you move forward. So I do hope that you found this video beneficial and helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, Jamie Brumfield, and click the bell to get notified when new videos become available. If you're watching this on Facebook, I am author Jamie Brumfield, so please follow that page as well. Let me know what you think about this series, the Design Your Desired Future series, and let me know if it's helpful and beneficial to you. I really would appreciate any kind of feedback. And what do you think about this tool? Because this is a tool that I've used many times with clients, and they have loved it. So, all right, that is it for me today. Thanks so much for tuning in. I am New York Times bestselling author Jamie Brumfield. Escape into the paranormal with me. Search for the truth one mystery at a time. And let's design our desired future. Wow, now I got 3 taglines. Something has to give. All right, I will see you guys soon. Bye.